Good afternoon. Welcome to Bessie, the School Innovation Turnaround Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Can I get a roll call?
Dr. Bophy?
Here.
Dr. Bophy is present. Mr. Castillo?
Here.
Mr. Castillo is present. Dr. Davis?
Here.
Dr. Davis is present. Ms. Ellis?
Here.
Ms. Ellis is present. Mr. Garvey?
Here.
Mr. Garvey is present. Ms. Holloway?
Here.
Ms. Holloway is present. Ms. Mellerin?
Here.
Ms. Mellerin is present. Mr. Morris?
Here.
Mr. Morris is present. Ms. Orange Jones?
Present.
Ms. Orange Jones is present. Mr. Rock? Mr. Rock is present. Ms. Bochier?
Here.
Ms. Bochier is present. You have a quorum.
Great. First item, please.
Your first item is on page 1, item 2.1, consideration of the renewal of charter contracts for Bessie authorized charter schools. The recommendation is to approve the initial charter contract renewal terms as outlined, approve the subsequent charter contract renewal terms as outlined, and receive the automatic renewals.
Can I get a motion? Mr. Castillo?
Morris, I'd like to offer a motion. It would be an in-global motion. There are a number of items in the packet. The board has had an opportunity to review the materials and the recommendations of the department. As such, I'd like to move that we approve item 2.1, A through K, with the exception of B and C, which we would have additional discussion.
Thank you for that. Can I get a second? Ms. Orange Jones? All right. Is there any comments from the board?
Do you have any cards on page?
And to the extent that we have cards on items A through K, with the exception of B and C, I would suggest to those persons that there is an interest in improving your matter. You're certainly welcome to come up and speak if you would like to speak, but there's interest by the board in improving your matter. And
I second that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Castillo, for those comments. So what I'd like to do is actually go through here, call your name. If you take exception to Mr. Castillo's comments, if you would still like to testify, then we don't want to deny you that opportunity, okay? So I'll go through here and read off your name. If you would like to come forward, please do, but please take Mr. Castillo's comments into consideration before you do that. I got Sean Flory, Leslie Leroy, Nicole Baudier. Did I get that right? Baudier? Good. Anne Catherine Linnea. Good. Andrew Anglada. Andrew's good. Lonnie Luce. He's good. Gary Coffin. He's good. Jason Talbot. Good. Talbot's good. And Angelique. Angelique's good. Cool. All right. So where's the wisdom there, Mr. Castillo?
deal.
All right.
Mr. Garvey.
Yeah, there was some talk earlier about maybe hearing from the people on item F, JCFA.
Save that one to last, Mr. Garvey.
I want to make sure, we want to pass them a chance to hear from them.
Great, great.
We are not going to do that following the reports from those persons relative to B and C. That's correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir, that's correct. But at this time, I think we were going to follow your motion, see if we could get the board approval, right? So is there any exception taken to Mr. Castillo's motion? Hearing none, motion passes. All right?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for the work you all did serving the children of the state of Louisiana. I appreciate working with you and look forward to that continued work. You've earned this moment, so congratulations.
Dr. Scooter, I believe the ball's in your court.
I would like to reiterate that before we get started. We had a couple of even automatic renewals. Can y'all hear me? That, takes a lot of work to get there to be an automatic renewal. So thank you guys. We appreciate all you do for our charter schools. process is a little different with my presentation.
May I add that for anyone who has been approved and you would like to leave, you're welcome to do so. You're welcome to stay. But just for those who might be wondering if it's inappropriate to slip out the door, it's okay to do so.
So we have two renewals, initial renewals to present to you. To begin with, for the renewal process, each school is reviewed based on academic, financial, and organizational performance as outlined in Bulletin 126 and the Charter School Performance Compact. As we move through these two initial renewals, you'll see a school's renewal is based primarily on the school's most recent SPS letter grade, and the financial and organizational performance rating is utilized to determine additional years that may lengthen a charter school's term. The LDOE charter team reviews organizational data related to the school's enrollment of economically disadvantaged students, students with disabilities, special education, re-enrollment, and discipline rates, along with governance and safety compliance. The school receives a rating of meets all, meets most, or does not meet based on the total points earned in each category. Our school system finance team provides us with school financial data indicating how well the school performs on its audit and its AFR. Based on this data, the school also receives a rating of meets all, meets most, or does not meet their financial performance rating. We'll go ahead and skip this next. As you see, if a school has a C, D, or F letter grade, they will not receive additional years on the renewal term. If they receive A or B, it is determined by their organizational financial performance. So we'll move into the department's recommendations on our initial renewals. Per Bulletin 126, in order for a charter school to be eligible for an initial renewal, the school must receive a D letter grade or higher in the most recent year of their contract term. And we have two schools that I will be presenting. We have Zion City, formerly Glen Oaks Middle, and Red River Charter. Zion City is located in East Baton Rouge Parish and received an F letter grade in the most recent year of the school's contract term. Red River Charter is located in Avoyles Parish and received an F letter grade in the most recent year of the school's contract term. Based on the requirement of a D letter grade for initial renewals, the LDOE's recommendation for both Zion City and Red River Charter is to deny each school's initial renewal.
Members, do we have any comments at this point? Hearing none, Dr. School, do we have representation from these groups?
Yes, we do. I believe there's representation, possible comments.
Okay, could we start with Zion City?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I know it's been a long day. My name is Megan McNamara, and I'm the superintendent of Redesigned Schools, Louisiana. RSL operates 3 separate Type 5 BESI authorized LEAs in North Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Lanier grew 6 SPS points last year. Dalton gained 8 SPS points and moved from an F to a D letter grade. Both schools received an A progress index. Zion City School, our 6th through 8th grade middle school, and our school up for renewal today, gained 2 SPS points and moves from a D to a C in progress index. We're fortunate to have seen growth at all 3 of our schools last year, but I realize there's obviously more work that needs to be done. The question has been posed, why did Dalton and Lanier have more significant growth than Zion City? So we've employed the same supports and leadership and looked at each of our schools as 3 separate schools with individual needs. But one particular thing stands out for Zion City. Zion City has seen an unprecedented number of changes in the past 5 years. Originally situated in Scotlandville as a pre-K-8 model, We turned an F to a C letter grade in 3 short years. Then came a slew of recommendations that jeopardized the consistency of our model. It changed to a 6.8. The following year, it was moved to Glen Oaks. And then the following year in 2020 to Zion City during the pandemic. In some cases, our 8th grade students were in 4 different schools in a 4-year period. Those decisions have, and I believe, were made with some of the best intentions, and they were made prior to Dr. Brumley or me in our positions. But they have shaped a history of decline that has finally been stabilized. That stabilization is the result of new leadership and innovative programs that have shown great promise in just 1 year of implementation. We've partnered with LDUE on literacy innovation and the acceleration programs, allowing daily ELA and math, high dosage, just-in-time group supports in the school day. And we participate in the innovation assessment that's administered not once, but 3 times per year as a rigorous state standardized test in lieu of the end-of-year leave. And the results from the first administration, which we've received back already, are quite encouraging, indicating substantive SPS growth. And I want to publicly give gratitude to the teachers and the staff and the leadership who have worked collaboratively and diligently to support our students and their families. They have thoughtfully worked on student growth with a 1-to-7 teacher-to-student ratio, while encouraging student participation in winning athletic teams and interest in opportunity and visual performing arts activities. Our children often gain exposure in multiple arenas, such as athletics and after-school tutoring, or art performances and club activities, opportunities that they would not experience in a larger school setting. We're an open enrollment school, and we would love to recruit more children to Zion City, but not until I can assure our families that we have a consistent runway for our kids. Our community has embraced our presence in Zion City in partnership with local government, cleanups, neighborhood groups, and the exciting and very, very supportive Zion City alumni. We've brought back a school to anchor our values and demonstrate that you don't need to leave your neighborhood to get a great education. Today I'm asking for your careful consideration of a school with a positive growth trajectory, a school that has grown and shown growth despite being stymied by a history of poor decisions for children. Give your support to a 3-year renewal that restores a model of success and pride in Zion City. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bennett?
Good afternoon. I wanted to make sure that you have the most up-to-date data on Zion City so that you can make an informed decision today. I'm going to ask that you look at this document here. It's a retracted name on it, but it's actual data from the innovation assessment that happened this October 2023. So this is live data that it's not dead, it's not being passed. This is what's actually happening in our schools today. Just for your reference, because you've probably never seen a report like this, because this is, again, a brand new test within our state. It outlines and gives plenty of data, as you can see, in the strengths, weaknesses of kids. When you look to the right, and this is the most important thing that I really want you to see with the 6th grade, is that the school system, obviously the school and the school system are the same. I know. Is everybody able to access it? Oh yeah, okay, good. The school and the school system are the same because we're one district. But when you compare the school system, which is Zion City, to the IAP portfolio, which consists of a number of large districts and a handful of charter schools, the school system itself is a 96% economically disadvantaged school. The IAP portfolio is a 76 economic disadvantaged portfolio. If you look down, you can see that our school system this year is hanging in with a much higher economic disadvantage level, and in some cases, if you look at the second bucket, we are surpassing that IAP portfolio. You can see there that we have 43% of kids. That blue means mastery or advanced. The green is basic. The yellow is weak, considered weak, which is unsatisfactory or approaching. 52% of our sixth graders are above, basic or above, on the knowledge of unit test. 67% of our students scored a basic or above on the application of unit knowledge. And then 62% scored a basic or above in synthesis and expression of knowledge across the text. Last year, Zion City in sixth grade in ELA was an academic index of 25. Okay, we know, not great. This year, when I take each one of these individual buckets, because it's, again, different than LEAP, and I put the scores of each individual child for knowledge of unit, the academic index is a 48.1. The academic index for an application of unit knowledge is 64.3. And the academic index for the synthesis and expression of knowledge, which is very difficult for children, because as these buckets increase, that's how it's the much more demand. Students were at 59.9 academic index. As you can hear, in some cases we doubled or nearly fell short of tripling the academic index in English in sixth grade last year. This data again proves that we are able to do the work. We have been in existence over 10 years. As Dr. Mack explained, we were able to move the school when we had stability in 3 years to a C. Again, we fell on some unfortunate circumstances, and our data, if you look at all of our schools and you put it together, as we keep kids longer and they have consistency, they keep getting better and better at our organization, which is actually the direct opposite of the state data. When you look at state data, as kids grow, you don't see them growing as fast as what we're growing kids, and in some cases falling short from the grade levels before. I just want to remind you that Zion City was not labeled a CIR and UIRA school over the years of data that was presented earlier, which means they had no access to additional super app funds. They did not qualify. We have 0 teacher vacancies at our schools. We have a 95% teacher retention. Again, all this defies what's actually going on in our state. We're asking that you please consider keeping Zion City open, as we will improve student outcomes if we just are given the runway and the time and the consistency. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. If you would, just for the record, would you please identify yourself on this staff?
Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Angela Beck, I am the executive advisor for RSL.
Thank you. Members, comments from the board? Ms. Orange-Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Superintendent, can you speak to, given the recommendation on the table, like where will these students, what are the alternatives for where these students would go should they not go to this school?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, none of us want to be here in this situation discussing the closure of the school. Obviously, we don't want to do this. I believe there are 65 students at the school, 65 to 70, and the letter grade is an F, and SBS is a 39. And so while I hear this and I appreciate it, at the end of the day, the SBS for the school is a 39. And so whenever we think about options, certainly there will be the neighborhood options within the traditional public system, but also there is a more robust portfolio within the city of Baton Rouge and further developing around charter options for families. And so what I would hope is that those students and those families should be informed about options that are available to them, both in the traditional public and public charter sector, and have the opportunity to access the best fit for their family.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Having lived this for a very, very long time and led this and championed a lot of the important work we do around school accountability, A couple follow-ups. One is specifically, what are the neighborhood schools and what are those schools grades? And then what do we know about what's actually going to be available in the enrollment process that students can get into if there are better options given our prioritization on choice? Like truly, where likely will the children go in terms of the letter grades of those alternatives?
Yeah, I think, Dr. Stewart, you have that information. I'll say that the traditional options do not have the strongest performance. I do know, however, that some of the charter options
They do
have the stronger opportunity.
Can we get a little more information on that?
I can, yes, and as Dr. Brumley spoke to, the majority of the students would go to Capitol Middle, Glen Oaks Senior High, because they're a 6 through 12 school, and both of those are low-performing schools, higher Fs, but they are F schools. There's a Crestworth Elementary within the surrounding, that's a D. Southeast Middle, that is a D letter grade. There are several charter schools within the area. Prescott Academy, which is our new school, it is 3 miles from their school. GeoPrep Mid-City is 5 miles. It is a 72.8 AC. GeoPrep Academy Greater Baton Rouge is a K8, also as Mid-City, and it's a 72.8 C and 7 miles.
And you don't have any information on the enrollment availability to take on new students at the schools that you just mentioned that were the...
I do know Prescott for sure. They indicate that they have not met their max enrollment. I know last we looked, Geo was reaching their enrollment, but they're not at their max capacity. It's more of a facility thing that they're looking at.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Dr. Davis?
Can you tell me, so this school is currently located at Glen Oaks Middle. I have a couple of questions. One, what's the seat capacity of Glen Oaks Middle for a school that has 70 students in it? Like, how big is that building and how many students could that building hold?
Sure, just to clarify a few things, there's Glen Oaks Middle School, which is a public EBR-run school, and then the building we're in, which was formerly called North Banks Elementary, much smaller school. We imagine it could hold approximately 200 students, and we'd like to see it move in that direction. I think to the earlier points, just to clarify, I think it's best to not hear from me, but to hear from a parent who's asked to speak today during public comment about why she chose a smaller school. We've had a lot of feedback from parents who have shared that they have been in magnet schools that were smaller but in larger facilities and are not interested in that particular model. They're looking for something that has more of a personalized fit for their children.
Does anyone remember the original school that this was when the state took it over? What was the name of it?
So the North Banks was an alternative school before it was in the EBR system. It closed. So it was an alternative school.
But not the building, I'm sorry. So this is a type 5 charter, which means it was created when the state took over an East Baton Rouge Parish school. Which school was this?
It was Crestworth at the time. Prescott, Crestworth, and Glen Oaks were merged together in a building that was on Avenue F in Scottsdale. That was where our original charter started as a K-8 model.
And this school was taken over how many years ago?
2014.
2000.
And that's the one we were able to move with a whole combination in 3 years to a school.
If the school, if the board votes to deny, what are the plans around North Banks and the building? Are we planning to reopen another charter, or is it just to close this one? And will the building go back to EBR?
Yeah, so buildings revert back to the school system in a situation where they own the building. Yeah.
So there's not a plan right now for the state to try another charter operator using this existing site code. So we would be giving up a recovery school district.
Members, other comments? All right, I think we have some public comment cards. All right, if you could, I'm sorry.
It's Simone Higginbotham.
Okay, Ms. Higginbotham, can you represent yourself?
I'm representing myself and the Zion City Schools alumni.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Bessie Award,
I understand your mic is on. You see the little green light right there? Is it working?
very close. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, they might have to switch mics.
Yeah.
Give it a gap.
Just a little towards you, okay? Sorry about that.
No problem.
Oh, much better, much
Okay.
better.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Bessie Board, my name is Simone Higginbotham, and I stand before you here today, well, I sit before you here today, not just as an advocate for Zion City Schools, but as a proud member of the family that's deeply woven into the fabric of the Zion City community. Since its inception in 1920, my roots run deep in the Zion City School, as my mother, the late Florida Higginbotham, was among the first students in the inaugural first grade class when Zion City School opened its doors in 1950. I too walked the halls of Zion City School up until the 4th grade before circumstances forced its closure, and I, along with others, were bused away from the heart of the Zion City community. The closure left a void that we've worked tirelessly to fill over the years. Zion City School is not just a building with classrooms, it's an anchor to our community. It is where generations have been educated, friendships forged, and dreams nurtured. The pride in our neighborhood has reached unprecedented heights thanks to the relentless efforts of the reclaiming of the Zion City name by RSL Initiative, working tirelessly to restore the school's name. This past April, we witnessed a remarkable homecoming of alumni from all corners of this country flock back to the home. Their stories echoed with laughter of shared memories, the resilience that this school instilled, and determination to ensure future generations experience the same sense of belonging. Closing Zion City School would not only be a blow to our educational resource, but a severe detriment to the very essence of our community. It's a place where history lives, where stories are passed down through the ages, and where the spirit of Zion City thrives. I implore you to consider the significance of Zion City School beyond its brick and mortar. It's a living testament of the strength of a community that refuses to be forgotten. Let us not only preserve the legacy, but also invest in the future. Our children deserve the opportunity to build their own memories within the same walls that have echoed with the footsteps of generations past. Zion City School is more than a building. It's a promise to generations, that fulfilling a promise that they too will have a place to call home within the nurturing embrace of this community cornerstone. Thank you for your time and consideration, the Zion City alumni.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am, if you would, please state your name and if you represent an organization.
Carla Young. Carla Young. I would like to first thank God for allowing me the opportunity to give me the strength to be here today. I'm supposed to be at hospital and I feel good. However, the first letter that I'll be reading is for my son, M.L. Young. I really don't want to put his first name, but he's a student at Zion City School in Baton Rouge. And his letter reads, Dear Louisiana Bessie Lord, I transferred to Zion City School at the beginning of the school year. My mother attempted to enroll me in the school last year because of my cousins was already students there, but the school didn't have any spots available. I transferred from another charter school in Baton Rouge where I received very little help and wasn't getting much homework. Now I'm in a school with good teachers and staff who are always more than willing to help me with my work. They slowly help me overcome my shyness. So please do not close down our school, Zion City. Lastly, thank all of you for allowing my letter to be submitted and to the board. Respectfully, M.L. Young, future leader. This is my letter that I've written. Dear Bessie Board, members of the Bessie Board, my son is currently a student at Zion City School, a school of redesigned school in Louisiana located at 59 Cadillac Street in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70811. He was accepted in a school where we already have family members who have been enrolled in the school since their elementary school years, and some have aged out of Zion City schools to move on to high school. Moreover, I wasn't aware of the school closure, recommended for closure until November this year, during the school board parent meeting. During the school parent meeting. Nevertheless, I'm pleading with you all to reconsider the closure of Zion City School because the teacher, staff, all help my son with his schoolwork, motivates him to do and be his best that he could be. The positive interactions between the students, staff, and teachers and the parents. And they also slowly helped him overcome many obstacles. I've previously heard good things about Zion City School, but the opportunity to experience it firsthand was well worth the wait. I love picking my son up from school with a big smile on his face and positive things to report. I also like the classroom setting and the small student-teacher ratio. In closing, please do not close our school down, Zion City. Give everyone, teachers, staff, students, parents, etc., the opportunity to continue overcoming the issues and becoming even greater students and leaders, displaying positive behavior and working in our community. Thanks, everyone. Have a safe and wonderful holiday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also got a comment card from Dr. Megan McNamara.
Actual authority. I'm all set.
Okay, got that
Thank you.
one. Got Dr. Beck. All right, so got one more. N.L. Young.
I spoke.
We're good? Okay, we're covered. Thank you for that. All right. Members, any additional comments or questions from the board? Dr. Davis.
So I have a question around, I guess, the bad decision-making that the two women representing the schools discussed. Who made those decisions, and were they approved by our charter office? Is that something that we have to approve, all the changing locations and who, what, so was it their charter management company that was making these kinds of decisions around the changes?
So that was actually before Dr. Brumley and I, and so I'm not really sure. They might give some more information about that, but I think it was the previous superintendent made those decisions, and I'm not exactly sure. I would hate to speak to that.
I think that we just need to allow them to answer.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for the question. It's been something that's been of concern since we've taken over as office. There is a history, I think, of what were well-intentioned moves. Originally and historically, when we were in Scotlandville, there was a local EBR school that was an elementary school that had favorable grades. Our mission and vision was always to be a school that was rooted in the community, that was rooted in the neighborhood. And so there was a recommendation made by the superintendent at that time for us to move from a K-8 model to a 6-8 model. I was an employee at that time, definitely concerned about the shift in that model and the effects that it would have on our students. But at that time, I can't speak to how that decision was made. The following year, we were approached again. It was explained to us that we had dropped in enrollment. Now you can imagine that going from a K-8 to a 6-8, we would inevitably drop in enrollment, having lost 5 grade levels. So the recommendation was to merge with another school in Glen Oaks, set our foundation there, and do our best to create a Glen Oaks sort of community presence as a middle school, as a feeder middle school in that area. Within a year of that was a recommendation that the building was not in particularly good shape, and that it would be better for us to move to North Banks. Again, that's in the midst of COVID as well. So with those recommendations, we made a lot of yeses, and I'm sitting here today to tell you now is the time for me to appeal to Bessie and consider those as we move forward.
And you've had the school for So your organization has had the school for how long?
Since 2014.
Where we moved to with Glen Oaks and merging with a new community of kids in a different school, putting again, then think about it, you have the three, Prescott, Glen Oaks, so on, and then now you're adding another group of kids, and that happened during the COVID year. So we did not know that community that year in 2020. We were getting to know them, and that's where that started. And then we were moved again. So it was a lot of shifting, and every time we have to pack up infrastructures, right? We have to pack up our servers, we have to pack up desks, and all of that in a very quick manner over a summer. And especially during COVID, it was very tough to meet all this. We could not go out and recruit. We couldn't get to know the community in different ways that we would, in a normal circumstance. So I feel like there was a lot of unfortunate circumstances that happened around the school. And I really consider last year to be the first year of us really having a school. This year being the second real year. And you're seeing the growth, obviously, that we're able to accomplish when we have at least 2 years of somewhat consistency.
Other comments, members? All right, we don't currently have a motion on the floor, my understanding, so looking for some help with the motion, members. Mr. Orange,
My microphone's not very good. So look, I think the thing that I would say, these are like the hardest decisions that I think this board is consistently faced with. Of all the decisions we make, these are the hardest ones because there's real students' lives at stake. And I've historically been pretty bullish about holding a pretty unapologetic line for high performance, like the performance of schools, right? And that isn't going to change today in this case. But what I am going to really challenge the board and the department, most importantly, to consider is the transition and the communication to students to ensure that they land in better options matters as much as this decision. And when I think about the last 12 years, and most of the schools that closed were reconstituted, sort of reauthorized, happened in my community. We got the decision, I would say, arguably right, but I don't think we always follow through on the management of what actually happened to the children who we promised better options to. And so what I would implore for the department, those of us who will be here, beyond me, is to get specific, child by child. What is the plan? Where are they going? How do you know? And how will this be communicated? So should this board vote in favor of supporting the department's recommendation, how will we know that children actually have better options as a result of a decision that will inevitably cause disruption in their lives, even if it's the right decision, right? And too often we sort of stop short of that and said, oh, okay, that part will kind of figure itself out, let the market decide, blah, blah, blah. And many children got lost in that process, right? So I would just, I'm talking to UK, what's the plan to answer the question on how we deliver on the promise to make sure that children do not feel the overwhelming burden of a decision that we as a board have made since 2014?
So as you very well know, you and I collaborated on this very issue when I was in a different role because of the same concern you previously had. And I think that we did indeed make progress with a number of families. And so,
thinking of that case, exactly.
Yeah. So should we step away from here with a recommendation to deny? I'm going to instruct our team to do as you're mentioning, and to go and look at this child by child and look at what options are available for them and their families.
Mr. Castillo.
Let me begin by saying that these two incredible ladies do just a fantastic job in educating our kids. And we love the service that you provide for this community. You do it with heart and passion. I hear it every day, and it's not just the day that I've spoken to both. I will tell you that I will support the department's recommendation. And I wanted you to understand that the schools in my district. But I strongly encourage you to continue to do the great work that you're doing with other schools and continue to grow and be the leaders that these families and students need to be.
Thank you, sir. Other members? All right, members, we could, I'd like to get a motion for proceeding with regard to Mr. Orange Jones. To support the report, can I get a second? To support the report, Mr. Gardy. Is there any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Dr. Schooler, back in your corner.
Next would be the vote for Red River Charter. As presented earlier, Red River Charter also has an F letter grade, and for an initial charter renewal, they must have a D as per policy bulletin 126. And so the recommendation to the board is to deny the renewal.
Please go ahead. You have a handout for, you're going to follow your...
Yes, it's the same as what I just presented for Red River. It's the same initial renewal as a D letter grade for both of those schools.
Could we ask the groups to come forward?
Yes. I wanted to reiterate that the backup docs has their SBS letter grade and history of enrollment.
Well, welcome to Bessie. If you would, please identify yourself and organizations represented.
Mr. Morrison, just briefly, if I could, just to provide this, I'm not sure that Dr. Schooler, you've heard of Dr. Schooler, but the 23 SBS for River Charter is a 45.5. And one thing that I would offer that is a little different than the last situation that we discussed, to Mr. Orange Jones' point, is in this particular case, if you look at the surrounding schools, you have a much stronger performance. Where you raised the right question earlier, in this particular situation, the actual performance of the neighboring schools is much stronger than this particular school. So I just wanted to lay that out before our individuals from Red River.
I believe that's on page 19 of our handout in percent.
Thank you, sir. My name is John Stassi. I'm the board chair for Red River Charter Academy. My colleague Danielle Blanchard, who is also a board member and a parent of 2 students at the academy.
I will go first. Once again, my name is Danielle Blanchard. I am vice president of Red River Charter Academy, and I'm also a parent to 2 students who attend Red River Charter. As a parent, your number one priority with your children is their education. Personally, from my perspective, I have had no problems with academics with my children at this school since they have been here. My daughter is a senior. She will be graduating in 2024. She has a 26 on her ACT, is currently in dual enrollment, and has been making all A's in her dual enrollment classes, and is scheduled to graduate with, I think right now, maybe a 3.6 or a 3.7 GPA. My son, who is currently in 8th grade, scored mastery and above in his LEAP test scores, and currently they're doing some sort of testing right now. Once again, academically, yes, we want what's best for our children, but in order for our children to have a well-rounded education, there need to be some elements that are actually brought back into the school. I will touch on a few things that I think that are very important in a child's education and in their choice of schools. As a parent, what I appreciate about Red River is that the classrooms are small. They're small enough where a teacher can focus their attention on a child, and there aren't very many disciplinary problems because the classrooms are under control. Each child can have their own style of teaching. The teacher can go and address that specific situation with each child. If a group is too big, then there's no management in the classroom, and therefore there is no learning. I appreciate that there is the teacher involvement. with the students. Teachers are very involved in the students' lives. They are trying to contribute to their well-rounded education, which also includes a lot of different aspects, which for me, as a parent, a lot of things that some of the schools in a Falls Parish aren't doing right now, and I'm not sure if they're implementing or not. River Charter Academy requires that each senior has 75 hours of community service in order to graduate. I don't know of any other charter school or any other school in the Falls Parish that is making a requirement for their children to have that in order to graduate. In developing that and in supporting that, we're teaching our children that there is much more in this world that is outside of yourself, that giving back to your community and supporting your community is ultimately giving back to yourself. And I think now, in the times that we live in, we need more of that. We need more of an altruistic nature with our students and with our parents and with our communities to give back. I also find that the administration and the students and the teachers, these children are kind and caring children. I relate that to the teacher involvement. I relate that to the administration. I relate that to the community involvement, so that when I go on campus to do my regular business, I get a yes ma'am, no ma'am, how are you doing today, Ms. Blanchard? I see them on the street and at Walmart or the grocery store, big hugs. Having a kind child is very, very important in a well-rounded education as well, and that's what I believe that we need with Red River Charter. And I do not want to see these children displaced. They have grown up with each other, and they're very kind to each other, and they're kind to their community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blanchard. Red River was founded by Ms. Pat Allers, who was a 25-year educator, and she wanted to fulfill a need in the parish that she saw was not being filled by the other schools. Red River is filling that need for the underprivileged children. She wanted to have a STEM school, which we're doing. She wanted parent involvement, which we are doing. Unfortunately, Ms. Pat passed away last year, but we are moving on with her vision. Keep in mind that Red River opened in 2019 and 7 months later was on virtual campus and did not return until August of this year. We are finally stabilized and being able to offer an environment for the children where they can learn and grow, as Ms. Blanchard said, with the grades for her children. The grades in the classroom are working. The kids are learning what they need to learn. The one other thing, we talked about moving schools and where the kids are going to go. Red River is a 5-day school. Falls Parish is a 4-day school parish. So those students that go there, their families will be adversely affected by having to find a place for those children on that 5th day of the week when there is no class.
Good afternoon, Bessie members. I'm Stanley Celestine Jr. I am actually a founding board member of Red River Charter Academy. As I address you today, I realize that most of the time I presented to this body during RCA's approval journey, I was actually a high school student myself. When we received approval from Bessie, I was enrolled in college and had just been elected to our local school board. Despite the challenges that my board colleagues have already mentioned, such as opening during the year of COVID, experiencing significant transitions in leadership, and also changes in the original founding board, our RCA has emerged resilient, and we are grateful for the responsibility this body charged with us. The measures taken by RCA, especially in restructuring our board, reflect an understanding of the crucial role governance plays in shaping a charter school's effectiveness. As a new board, we've assessed our strengths and weaknesses and boldly reimagined the school's vision and mission, aligning strategies, systems, and resources to improve student outcomes. This includes operating as a highly effective governing board, making intentional financial decisions, implementing data-centered and student-focused policies, recruiting and retaining effective leadership, and developing the instructional staff's capacity. Our request to Bessie today is to grant us more time to continue implementing the formulas, systems, and structures we put in place, many of which are not reflected in our current school performance score. If this cannot be done, we ask that other options and collaborations with the LDOE are explored outside of complete closure. We ask this, at the very least, because our commitment will always be our students, many of whom have already followed through our traditional public school system and experience barriers daily that make them at risk of being disconnected from school. Our request is grounded in the belief that keeping RRCA open is in the best interest of the students we serve, ensuring they have a chance to become lifelong learners, achieve post-secondary success, and actively participate in civic society. We humbly ask for your support in preserving the lifeline that RRCA represents for the students and community we serve. Thank you for your consideration and commitment to the well-being and future success of our students.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I want to say thank you to this
Excuse
school.
me, if you would please identify yourself and your
My name is Charles Jones. I'm the Executive Director of Red River Charter Academy. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing Red River Charter to exist. Things get lost in numbers while kids go to certain schools. Every child at my school has been to a boys' parish school. Every one. They choose us. Their parents choose us. Red River Charter allows for students to have the experiences they might not have at another school. They get the chance to be in the in-crowd because Red River Charter fits them. RRCA began evaluating itself March of 2022. It was created with good intentions, but fell short on providing direction. Work began to address the deficiencies that we discovered in our work with educational consultants. We discovered that in certain areas such as salary, curriculum, assessment, PBIS, and school administration, we had an opportunity to grow. We understood the shortages that are present in education. We reached out to a vendor fee. Today, we ask you to consider preserving what we've started. Since March of 2022, to establish RRCA as an acceptable academic school. Everybody in this room has read that book that is titled The Bible. My father used to call it the basic instructions before leaving earth. Proverbs 22:6 is a very important Bible verse. And I will end with this. Red River Charter intent has always been to train a child up in the way he should go, so that when he grows old, he does not depart. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other comment cards. Members, do we have any comments from the board? No comments from the board. Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Sassy, would you come back up to the mic, please? Just want to make sure I captured some of the points that you brought out earlier. So the school started in fall 2019, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
And so in March of 2020, that was the time period in which the governor closed down all schools and the schools ceased to operate for a period of time and then went virtual, is that right?
That's correct again.
Right. So, and then the following year, you were primarily virtual that year, the year 2021?
Yes, sir. School year 2021, we were virtual again.
And then when did you ultimately return to full in-person instruction? was last year or year?
Let me interject. 2019, 2020, COVID hit, March of 2020. We attempted to come back in the August. And then there was, if you remember, there was another rash of COVID outbreaks. So for the first 9 weeks of 2021, we stayed virtual. So it wasn't until after Labor Day of 2020 where we came back and attempted to go face-to-face virtual at that time. From that time on, we were face-to-face, and then I believe when we returned back from Christmas of 20, we've been face-to-face since.
And your school leader that you described earlier that founded the school that passed away, when did she pass away?
About a year ago, sir. Her husband is currently a board member as well.
So tell me what you would do differently if you were granted additional time. If the request, I think I heard from someone was, we need additional time. What would that look like?
This board needs to be actively engaged in what is happening at the school. As Mr. Jones said, we have found an option where we can have more certified teachers in the classroom. I believe that we need to offer the TRSL retirement to our teachers so that we can increase that teacher hiring as well. We have hired a consultant to help us with the academic side of things and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row with the curriculums and so forth. But we are a new board. I joined the board earlier this summer and just became the chair of the board 2 months ago. Mr. Celestine is the only founding board member. Ms. Blanchard is relatively new as well. Mr. Hours joined earlier this year, the same time I did. The mayor of Mansura is a board member, and Mr. Jackson as well, who's a community member. But everyone is committed to the children to make sure that this happens. The plan is that we have found the deficiencies, which is what Mr. Jones brought up. We have found a way to overcome those deficiencies, and we are absolutely dedicated to making sure that we do. The school is financially stable. We have $1.4 million in net assets and over $600,000 of that is in cash, so we are in a position to move forward with the plan.
Thank you.
Members, other comments? Mr. Stassi, you have another comment?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We also have hired a turnaround principal who was at a school in St. Landry Parish, who brought his scores up, and he is now the principal of our school. So we have our administration in place as well.
And who's that?
Mr. Sarnet.
Thank you. Can I speak? I don't have the card, but I.
If you would, please come to the table
Thank you, I
and
appreciate that.
please fill out a card
I'll be
following your comments.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I apologize. I just wanted to clarify, the gentleman that they...
Yeah, if you would, please
My name
identify
is
yourself and the organization.
Dr. Eric Jones, just a community leader, community activist, community organizer, someone that's working with this amazing group of people. The gentleman that they're speaking about was a janitor. He made national news, local news, statewide news. Sonia was a janitor at the school he's working at. Working with, when we talk about how we recruit within, internally, what we do at the school. This gentleman was a janitor, worked his way up, went back to school, became a principal, moved his desk close from F to a B. I think that's phenomenal. This guy's been there. He served as a dean of student. At first, they noticed that when they were going through the transition, as it relates to a transition of a principal even, they then saw he was capable, so he has put some stuff in place. That's why they're talking about tremendous growth. In terms of what that looked like, he's using the same formula that he used at high school. I didn't say that prior, and it is working. So I think when we talk about elements of recruiting great leaders and teachers, that is a testament in itself. So the other thing I want just point out is as well that the executive director in their finances has found they've had tremendous audit reports in terms of their bookkeeping, so they're stable with that. It's a very small setting classroom, maybe probably one teacher per maybe 15 teacher ratio. I think that will show some tremendous effort in their growth. And just keep in mind that during the year of COVID, where we all experienced a shutdown, this school was awarded at that time. So they've not had really enough time to even make any tremendous growth other than the growth that we've made virtually. They also, so we make note of that, not to throw any light on the Department of Ed. This group of people saw at least 3 or 4 personnel that were responsible for them even getting the resources they need. So they've had 4 different people at the state level trying to help them during that transition. So I just beg and this body to even consider those things when we talk about them asking for an extension or even an option to participate in the extension this year, to look at this year, to end of this year, moving to next year to see what that growth looks like, being intact for this whole fiscal year. So thank you again. I apologize for not signing the card.
No worries. Please, if you would.
I will.
Sure you want.
I will put one. I got one right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ms. Jones?
I'm tired, I'm not going to speak for you today. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to engage a little bit in the lead up to this meeting, and I thought that you all were potentially considering the replacement of, like, the proposal that you would be replacing yourselves with the possibility of another operator, right? Like, you've gotten as much time as any other school, right, in a period of time. They've all had the same challenges. We had to work with students through the pandemic, dealt with virtual learning. We remember when you came initially, there was powerful testimony about the vision you had for students. In the 3 years, it hasn't happened yet. We understand that things happen, and you also understand that this is a board that has a very consistent track record of holding a consistent line. You saw what happened with the school that came before you. So I'm just wondering if that was something you had considered, was the possibility of a different operator, because I was under the impression that that was part of what you would be presenting today.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, but it's presented correctly. Our mission here is to keep this school open. And if that is an option that the board considers and would approve, then yes, we would do that as well.
But you don't have like an operator in mind that you work with, nothing, it would just be, it's something you're amenable to, I hear you saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I thought that was an integral part of what you requested.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Members, any other comments? All right, members, I'll vote for your help in offering a motion going forward, please.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of the department.
Got a second? Any opposed? Hearing none? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item, please. Dr. Scuba, I'm sorry, my next item will fall back into the court. I think we still want to hear from JCFA.
Yes, that's not the reason. Here. I would like to say, as Ms. Harris is coming to the table, we have been talking with them often, and I think she'll speak to the great things that JCFA is doing at their school. The progress that they have made this past year is phenomenal, and we look forward to collaborating with them and seeing if we can help other schools learn from what they're doing. So, thank you for the work that you guys put in. As you know, it is an alternative school, and they're doing amazing things for students. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Millie Harris, Executive Director of JCFA Charter Schools.
We have JCFA East, who is up here for renewal today, and I want to thank you all for granting us an 8-year renewal. We serve students who are overage and undercredited, students who have dropped out or in danger of dropping out. Our average student is just shy of 18 years of age and a sophomore according to credits earned towards graduation. We face the same challenges as most schools faced in the last few years. Obviously, we went through COVID. We felt maybe a little better prepared because of the type of curriculum that we use, but we also recognize the challenges that our students face with needing resources, in particular social emotional resources. In the last 3 years, we worked to add additional staffing to our team to ensure that we have what we call our Student Opportunities Coordinator, who ensures that our students are on track to graduate, which is why, in particular, the East Bank campus saw a 40-point increase in our graduation rate. For those in the back would be mad at me if I didn't get that right. We also added our Student Family Engagement Coordinator. They are there to ensure that our students are coming to school if they have an issue with attendance, that we're able to address those truancy and attendance issues. And we were able to add food pantries to all of our campuses. That is something that we learned was very important to our students during the COVID pandemic. In 2021-22, we faced the challenges of Ida, just as much of Jefferson Parish and South Louisiana faced. And our campus, in particular JCFA East, was physically devastated. We had to move all of our students into a gym for 3 months to get them back into the building and to start school. And then in February of 2022, we lost our campus leader, Miss Jean Penny, to cancer. And so we had to tap one of our own team members, Andrew Anglada, to leave the campus last year. The campus increased 30 points in SPS, going from a C to an A. And that is truly the result of the dedication of our students, staff, and community members. We are very excited to have the opportunity to serve the students that we serve. A lot of folks ask me, do your students have to do the same thing as everyone else? Do they have to take the LEAP? Do they have to take the ACT? Do they have to participate in all of the same things that traditional students do? And of course, you all know that they do. They do have to do all of those things. Our students face challenges just like all teenagers, but we serve a group of young adults who have additional barriers to their success. They need the support of the community, their faculty and staff, to provide them with the opportunity to find a path to the high school diploma. And we are so gracious and excited to have that opportunity. With me today, I have my board chair, Leslie Leroy, who many of you may remember when she was with DFAR. She's always been an advocate for the supports of students. I have our coordinator of community engagement, Ms. Shawn Fleury, our director of data, Ms. Ann Catherine Lene, our new school leader, Ms. Nicole Baudier, and Andrew Anglada, our director of talent. We would not be here today without the support of our community. And I'd like to thank all of you as Bessie members for giving us the opportunity to serve kids. JCFA East is one of our 3 schools. Our original school is a Type 1 in Jefferson Parish. Last year, it was recognized for its growth on LEAP in the 21-22 school year, and we earned our first B with that campus. This year, our Lafayette campus also earned a B, 2 points away from an A, so we're striving towards greatness on all of those campuses, and was recognized for their growth on LEAP. And of course, our East Bank school for 2 years in a row has been recognized as a top gain school and as an opportunity honoree. The work that we do with these students is a true passion of ours. I truly believe that all students, if given the right supports, are capable of exceeding expectations. And I'd like to thank all of you for giving us that opportunity to do so, Superintendent Brumley, as well as in particular, Mr. Garvey, who has always believed in JCFA. Thank you all so much. We are so excited to be given this opportunity to continue the work, and we look forward to not seeing the next Bessie as often. We hope to have auto renewals for all of our schools going forward because we're going to continue to strive and achieve at greater heights. Thank you all for your support. And as a personal note, thank you to our superintendent, to my superintendent, Doris Voce, for her service to St. Bernard Parish and to this board for the last 8 years. Thank you so much.
Wow, great story, Ms. Harris. I don't think you want to leave yet. I've heard a lot of curiosity about this item, so I want to give members a chance to engage. So, I see Mr. Castile stepped away. Other members, questions for Ms. Harris? All right. I'd like to get a point of clarification here with the original motion. Did we approve JCF payments and the motion? All right, very well. Thank you. Ms. Harris, thanks so much for the work you do. Thanks for your team. And we still like to see you around every once in a while.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be back. I did have the wonderful opportunity to be elected to St. Bernard Parish School Board, so hopefully I'll be here and advocating on behalf of the students in St. Bernard Parish, but you will always see me advocating for students across the state, in particular those students who are attending alternative schools, who are underserved in certain situations.
Appreciate your work. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garvey, I'm
I do
sorry.
have a question. It seems like several years have gone by since the last time you brought a proposal for a new school to us. I was wondering if you might bring one soon.
We are hoping to expand into Baton Rouge. We've been working with New Schools Baton Rouge on that opportunity. We believe that we could bridge the gap between our New Orleans area campuses, where we have 2 in Jefferson Parish, and our Lafayette campus to serve students in Baton Rouge. We're working with Baton Rouge Community College and potentially partnering with them to be physically located on their campus and really expand the idea of connecting the non-traditional student, non-traditional high school student to a college pathway, both through their high school diploma and then through dual enrollment. So we will be looking forward to visiting with you all again and with East Baton Rouge to try and support those students who we know that we can serve well with our services. So thanks for asking that.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Next item, please.
Next item is on page 44, item 2.2, consideration of a monitoring report regarding special education services provided to students enrolled in learning pods. The recommendation is to receive, and I believe you've gotten updated documentation.
Can we get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Garvey, got a second? Ms. Holloway, Mr. Garvey, got a second? Superintendent?
Yes, sir. So at a previous meeting, we were asked to conduct a review, provide some information, and come back with some information relative to learning pods. We have completed that task. The report is in your backup. Dr. Schuler and Ms. Townsend are available if you have any particular questions.
Members?
Yes, I'll just keep it brief. I appreciate the report. I do appreciate Iberville Charter Academy changing their policy around learning pods regarding the access that special education students should have to those learning pods. I will say that it does look like in their learning pods that I'm assuming Red Stick has about 250 or so altogether. Do you have in your pod population?
About 69 students.
So just 69 at Red Stick, so you only have 69 students in learning pods?
At Red Stick, we have multiple learning pods.
Okay, so this is only an audit then of those associated with Red Stick?
From our understanding, that pod is the one that had the special ed students. They receive services on the Thibodeau and the Houma campus. They can receive services at any of the pods. So they do receive their special ed services on campus. It's a schedule that the students and the parents work out with the pod facility.
Okay, so altogether in their learning pod population, there are 16 students with IEPs, and their total pod population is what? What do we know?
I can look that up for you.
Is it around 250 altogether?
Yeah, excuse me. Dr. Lewis, you've got a card. Why don't you, if you would, step down to the table, and if you need support, please bring those folks with you as well.
Yes, I'm Ronnie Luce, and I'm the USA for Louisiana. And Iberville is one of those schools that we have. Dr. Swallow is our special ed manager for the state as well, so she can give details on that.
So I just, my question is, what percentage of your pod population has an IEP?
We weren't asked that, I don't have that, we can try to calculate it really quick.
Well, I calculate how many roughly were all together pod.
240 pod students right now.
So if all of them are served,
Math was my strength, but especially.
are all of them served at Red Stick? So all of your students with IEPs? No.
No.
Okay, so this is an audit then only of students who are being served through Red Stick?
It was an audit of all our special education students, regardless of where they received their service.
Okay, and so, but you don't know, so I guess I'm just trying to get at, but what I want to say is I appreciate you changing your pod policy language to indicate that you do provide services for individuals with IEPs and that they cannot be turned away if their services or if their disabilities are too severe. I was just trying to get a handle on the fact that I can't tell how many kids with special education, how many special education students you have, and the state average is 13.4% or thereabouts. And so I just hope that as the removal of that language on your pod policy that seemed to indicate that students with special needs were not welcome, that you will see your percentage of IEP students served go to mimic the state average. That's all. Thank you.
All right, members, other questions? No other questions? We do have a couple of comment cards. Dr. Luce, do you have additional comments?
No, we just waive unless there's questions.
Right. Okay, the rest of your group is waiving as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. All right. Got a motion on the floor. Is there any exceptions to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item, please.
That concludes the agenda.